Hello everybody and welcome to Waggaz's Wings. This episode I'm going to show you how to beat the sixth and probably hardest training mission in Rise of Flight, which is a dogfight. It's not really a dogfight, in fact it's not very helpful the way that they described it as a dogfight, but fight with 3 enemy aircraft. So the SPAD is a boom and zooming aircraft. So in this video I'm going to show you how to boom and zoom with the SPAD. So first things first, always get above your opponent in the SPAD. Don't attack from the side, don't attack from below. James McCudden, the real-life World War I fighting ace, said, always from above, never from below. So here I have got above the Albatross before engaging him. And I've let him pass underneath, and I've pulled down towards him, rolled over and pulled down. Now we throttled down so not to over-rev, and you're very careful, use your rudder to line up the shots. So we go, take some pot shots, a few more, and we blow off his wing in one pass. And that's the ideal attack, really, for the boom and zoom. Now, I like to use the balloon guns with the SPAD, which give you that little extra bit of impact. Of course, the balloon guns were banned by certain international laws during World War I, but this is online war where different rules apply. It's a lot more cutthroat. So there we go, we used our balloon guns and snapped off the wing of the Albatross. Now, even if I hadn't have snapped off his wings, you'll see that I zoomed up straight away, hence the zoom. I did not try and turn level, I did not try and turn back towards him. I zoomed back up to regain that altitude and regain the energy. So here you have the external view as I roll over and begin my dive. This takes a lot of practice lining up this shot, because often when you're boom and zooming you really only have one shot, and you need to do as much damage as possible. Ideally blow off a wing, oil up the engine, or kill the pilot in the first pass. So that's the first Albatross taken care of. Now, before we engage the 2 D7s, we have climbed again back up to 2,500 meters. So here we are above the 2 D7s. These are thankfully D7s, not D7Fs. The D7F, of course, has a much better engine, better at high altitude. It really is the SPAD's worst enemy in terms of its fighting up high. So the first dive here, we shoot the crap out of the tail end Charlie. We remove his elevator, his engine smoking, he's oiling up. He's leaking fuel, so he's a goner, and we probably wounded him as well, so he's really out of the fight now. He's not really a threat to us. So we pull back up, hence the zoom, and for some reason his flight leader, Fritz, there has not noticed his wingman being murdered. He's probably humming to some Wagner or something. So we dive again, ignoring the rear bandit, and we get a nice long burst into the flight leader, and we set him on fire, and he is gone. Really, his rear wingman is also out of the fight, really. We've inflicted enough damage. Now, again, you see we've zoomed up after that attack, and the rearmost bandit is trying to nose up to get at us, but because we are high enough, because we have saved our energy in the dive, and he has a lower amount of energy, he is unable to climb up and get us. Now, as he tries to nose up to take a few shots, he then stalls as he runs out of energy, and falls back down. Now that is when I would pounce. So here you see me turning around to pounce. Because we've shredded poor Fritz's wing, it takes one little manoeuvre and his wings go flying off, so we don't have to turn around for another attack. Now that's a position I find myself in very, very often in multiplayer, and I'm going to do another video showing you what to do if you fail in your first boom and zoom attack but want to continue your attack. Usually what will happen is the bandit will go into a very tight turn. Your inexperienced boom and zoomer will try and turn with the bandit, lose all his energy, and then the Albatross meet. So here's poor Fritz. Auf Wiedersehen! Guten Tag! So there he is. We've shot the hell out of him. He catches on fire, and he's going down a flamer. Terrible way to die. So here's the saying. So you see his wingman there trying to nose up to get at me, and then dropping back down. He will probably try and do the same thing in a second. As I say, this is a situation I find myself very, very often in multiplayer. And one of the biggest mistakes boom and zoomers make, or when they're trying to learn how to boom and zoom, is to not really zoom back up again and prepare for another attack. You can always abort your attack. You don't have to make the zoom. You don't have to follow through. You can just zoom up and keep your altitude. The only time it's not perhaps a good idea to do that is when you're taking on the D7F that will quite happily climb up and kill you. My way of dealing with the D7F is either catch it by surprise or run away. The SPAD thankfully can dive better than the D7F. Very, very unfair aircraft, and makes the SPAD's life a living hell. So how to practice this? Well, I wouldn't suggest practicing on this mission straight away. What I would suggest you do is set up some quick missions, some quick battles. Start yourself 500 meters above an albatross in the SPAD. Make sure you don't have the bombs racked up. For some reason, the 777 seemed to think that it was a good idea that every time someone went into a dogfight, they wanted their fighter to be racked up with bombs. God knows why. So take off those bombs. Maybe fit the balloon guns. If me, you like the extra punch for the sacrifices of a bit of performance. Perhaps when you're starting out, maybe don't equip the balloon guns. Maybe keep the normal machine guns. Another tip: your rudder is very, very important when you're diving. If you've come over from one of the more arcadey, childish flight sims, you probably won't be used to using lots of rudder. I personally have invested in a pair of CH Pro pedals underneath my desk to give me that real extra added amount of realism. And to help me line up those shots, you really have to have a decent set of rudder pedals or rudder control with your joystick to get good at this. So here we go, coming into land. Talking of rudder, bugger up my rudder control, so I cause the SPAD to spin slightly, going a bit too fast. Nearly rip off the wing, but there we go, we've landed safely. And that is how you win the 6th mission for training for Rise of Flight.